ball, the flag stays down. Heaney! Oh!
He scored again! It's Davis again! It's job done now!
Hello everyone and welcome to the latest episode of the Northern Ireland podcast. As you can see, we're joined by Northern Ireland goalkeeper Trevor Carson. Trevor, thanks for your time. As you can see, we're here in the home of football, surrounded by shirts and obviously yourselves behind as well. Whose room is this?
This is our kitman Aldo. I think Aldo's been here 25 years. You know, he's die-hard Motherwell fan and genuinely the best kitman I've ever had. You know, usually kitmen are grumpy and you ask them for a pair of slips and you think they've asked them for £1 million. But Aldo, you know, as you can see, you know, he's obviously well respected. Ex-players just, you know, look after him. So yeah, but he doesn't know we're in here, so we better be quick.
So basically, our theme for today was to talk to you about your injury and about how that happened and about the process of coming back from it. So first, take us back to the start. What happened and what?
It was a strange one. We played Rangers on the Sunday at Ibrox, and I woke up the Sunday morning, literally the first time I had any sort of feeling about it. I woke up with like pains on down the outside of my arm, but you know, I've had shoulder problems all my career, and you know, I just brushed it off as, you know, I'd slept on it funny, but we got the Ibrox and, you know, it was getting worse, so I didn't even do a warm up before the game, and obviously we get tanked in the game 7-1. I played the game, so obviously when the game starts, adrenaline kicks in, you don't even think about it. It wasn't until maybe met up with Northern Ireland on the Sunday night, so I flew straight from Glasgow to Dublin, and the Monday I wasn't supposed to train anyway, obviously, because it was, you know, first day recovery after the game. But on the Tuesday I was down to train, but I was getting pains that had moved into my neck. I was getting rib pain, and, you know, it just felt different. That's when I sort of thought, you know, this is something different. You know, it's not just the shoulder. So obviously wasn't involved in the Republic game on a Thursday. You know, I didn't train, so Michael said, obviously you haven't trained, so, you know, I can't consider you for selection, which was fair enough. And I think deep down I was actually a bit relieved, you know, not because there was you know, Mike Taylor had said to me the plan is for you to play 45 minutes, and you know, in the past usually I'm one for pushing and, you know, getting out there at any cost, but this is something different. You know, I felt something different with this and I knew I wasn't ready. But the flip side of that, you know, come Friday, Saturday, again I get an inkling that I'm playing against Austria, so you know, but I heard I was starting this game, so I thought, you know, it's too good of an opportunity. I was actually starting to feel a little bit better. The pains weren't as bad, and you know, Michael pulled me on this Saturday, the day before the game, and said, "Listen, I'm going to play you, you know, but you have to be honest with me. Are you 100% right?" And I was like, "Yeah, you know, I won't let you down. I'm fine, you know." And I wasn't lying at the time, because that Saturday it was strange. I actually felt a lot better. You know, I wasn't getting as much pains, and you know, played the game, got through the game. Again, didn't think anything of it. And it's funny because after the game, my brother had said to me in the players' lounge, you know, "Have you been hammering the weights or something? It looks like you've been really..." But I was like, I haven't lifted a weight in a year or two. You know, I don't do weights anymore. But obviously, looking back now, obviously that arm was swollen without me really knowing about it. You know, because I didn't for a second think it's a blood clot or something, you know, sinister as that. So it wasn't until I got back here on the Tuesday, Wednesday that my mum was over actually, and you know what mothers are like, you know, the slightest little hang, but she was pestering me, you know, you have to go to A&E, because by this point it was like turning to funny bluey colour, and you know, I knew something wasn't right, but you know, I was putting it off, and you know, finally I gave in. Like, I dropped her at the airport and she said, "Promise me," and so I was like, "Yeah, fine." Went to A&E thinking, you know, I'll be in here, they'll do a few tests and say, you know, you've pulled the nerve or so, you know, something. And then they kept me in overnight, and that's, I think, when I knew, because they took my bloods, I think I knew then, you know, it's something a bit worse than just a trapped nerve.
Tell us a little about the condition and what it actually is, and what it was like when you realised that, yeah, this isn't just a wee trapped nerve or whatever.
Yeah, initially through Google I sort of found out, because when I first got my blood test, it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and the test came back, one of my bloods came back really high, so it was, I was Googling that, what happens if it's high, and then it sort of, I seen like blood clot underneath, and I was thinking, you know, only old people get blood clots, you know, or overweight people, not young athletes. That was my mindset of it. And then all of a sudden you see links to like American footballers and ice hockey players, but by this point I still didn't know it was a blood clot. I was thinking, please God, don't have that, And then by the next morning, when I actually found out that I did have it, when I knew I had the blood clot, the doctor who I got on really well with, he was a great character. He had told me after they knew it was a blood clot. He said they were 90% convinced that it was cancer. From the initial scans, like he said, he had spent all morning thinking to himself, how am I going to tell this young lad, he's got cancer, 30-year-old kid, or fella with 2 kids and stuff like that. So when you hear that, in the end, I was actually relieved it was a blood clot, you know what I mean? It could have been so much worse, as he said, if you had left it another day, another 6 hours, no one knows, because it started off in my shoulder, broke apart, and sort of lodged, got stuck in my left lung. So if that was the growth, he was saying it sort of bypassed the heart, but if I had hit the heart, it was basically game over. So in that sense, I was so fortunate, but that's sort of the mindset I'm taking out of it. Everyone, my mum and dad at the start was obviously down, but me, I was sort of thankful. I've to come out of it thinking how lucky I've been, and obviously I'm not lucky to be getting a blood clot, but in the bigger picture, I've been so fortunate and so lucky to come out of it, and I'm on the mend now.
So I mean, that's obviously that's amazing that, like you say, at the end of the day, that you can be fortunate it was just a blood clot. What was kind of your thoughts as soon as you heard that news and that kind of that information was passed you? Did you think about it in a football term, or did you even just think about yourself?
I actually got really emotional because it was just me and Dr. McKenna at the time. My family, my missus had been over with a little one in the morning, but I was still getting scans in between that and we didn't know. And then when she went away, he'd actually come around, told me what it was, but as soon as he said cancer, as soon as he said they were 90% convinced it was, luckily he'd already told me that it wasn't them, but the fact that, you don't think you're going to get, not at this age, you think it just happens to the other people, it never happened to you. But when he said that, I filled out a bit, and it genuinely wasn't for maybe 2-3 weeks after that I actually thought about, I don't even think I asked how long I was going to be out for 2 or 3 weeks, for me, being a father of 2 kids, and that was my focus, and I don't know how close I came to, surviving, but it was even have to think 2 or 3 days, the day before actually, I was training full with Motherwell, I'd done a full training session to go from that, and then land in a hospital bed being told you've got a blood clot in your lung, and it was quite surreal, and it was a lot to take in, but ever since then, I've tried to take the positives out of it, and even now I'm back in the gym doing work, and I'm more hungry now than I was 2 months ago. The week before I got this clot, because I know how fortunate I am to be a professional footballer and how lucky, and maybe we do take it for granted now and again because it can be, quickly taken away from me.
Mm.
So does it change your mindset, like having that close call and even hearing the word cancer mentioned in a meeting? Does it change your mindset as a player when you're out there, and what your maybe even your priorities?
Yeah, now, like as I say, I've only started gym work the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I'm quite a motivated person. I like to think I'm well, driven and stuff like that. But I've found an extra 10% in the gym, even, which I don't even enjoy the gym, but the last couple of weeks when I've been up there, I've been pushing myself, and as I say, because I know how fortunate I am, how lucky I have been, and we're blessed to be professional footballers, the best job in the world, and you do take it for granted, when you're just training every day and next, game to game every week, it can become a bit, monotonous, and you can get stuck in a rut, but I've promised myself that won't happen again. I'll come into the training every day with a smile on my face, because I can be the grumpiest person in the world, coming in and miserable, but since that, I've tried to be as upbeat as I can, and hopefully when I do get back, that'll, you'll see that in my performances.
Hi, I'm Stephen Cregan, and you're listening to the Northern Ireland Podcast.
So what has the recovery involved for yourself?
it's a frustrating one. That's the one side of it I found hard, because I've been out with shoulder operations and broken bones in the foot, and you're injured, you know what I mean? But now I feel I'm up in the gym training at 100%, and I feel like I play a game tomorrow. But the fact that I'm on this warfarin medication, you can't. I'm on this for 6 months, so you can't. It's a blood thinner, so the risks of getting a head knock or something, you can't do any contact sports whatsoever. So, it's quite strange, because as I say, I feel fit. I'm doing stuff up in the gym that, if you weren't 100% fit, you couldn't do it. So, that side of it I found probably the toughest. That, we play Hibs tonight, and I feel like I could go out there and play to 100% of my ability. But obviously, with an ankle injury or a shoulder injury, the risk of doing it again compared to a blood clot, the risk of getting a head knock, and your brain just slowly bleeding, and they can do nothing about it. That it's certainly not worth that risk. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Whenever me and Dave Elliott came over to visit you in the Scottish Cup final, is it moments like that you think about during the recovery, that like you're just trying to get back to things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I knew there would come a point, as I say, maybe 2 or 3 weeks I didn't even think of football or that side of it, but I knew in my head there would come a point where, I would start getting, itchy feet again, desperate to get back, and I can remember the exact time it came on a Saturday when I was at home with my missus, 2 kids, and as much as I love spending time with her, I was just thinking, I got to about 4:30 and all the scores coming in, I was like, this isn't me, I need to be out there, and since then I'm focused on that, next season. Obviously the season's a write-off, so, and I have a couple of times my missus has walked in on me watching YouTube videos of the cup final and, the road to the cup final, but you need that little bit of motivation, and at times because a couple of months out of football, you can start doubting yourself, like, will it be good enough again to come back? And sometimes you need these reminders that just because I haven't kicked the ball in 2 months, it doesn't mean I'm all of a sudden a rubbish goalkeeper or not good enough to, play at, international level again. So, there's plenty of motivation there for me to come back stronger.
And so, were you given a timescale of recovery, or are you currently doing better than you thought? Or?
No, the timescale is 6 months minimum on this warfarin, so that's what we were told by the doctor. So, and it's not as I say, when people do their knee, you get a rough time scale, and you could be back a month early, you could be back a month later. But for this here, it's a set. You're on this for 6 months. So 25th of May, my treatment stops. So I'm on that regardless. I'm in the hospital every 3 or 4 days getting my bloods checked, because they have to sort of regulate your blood levels to make sure it's at the right level. And so I think in a way, that's good for me to have that. Like, it's, this is when you're back. There's no, because I've had 2 shoulder operations, and physios will tell you I'm the worst nightmare, because, it's a 4-month rehab, but after 2 months I'm like, oh, I'm fine. And it was my first shoulder op. I did rush back too soon, and sort of for years after I was, paying for it, because it just wasn't right, and at least with this, it's, that's how long you're going to be out for. Concentrate, get as fit as you can. Because it's great, because it can work, do anything in the gym really, as long as it's not contact. So I've sort of taken positive out of that as well, because I can just focus on next season. I can come back as strong as I can do whatever I want in the gym, get as fit, as strong as I can, and just come back flying next season.
Do you see this as maybe bad timing in your international career, and that you were in a couple of squads, but then you were what, 30 whenever you made your 30, debut?
Yeah.
So you're just kind of into the squad, and now this happens, and it's set you back a wee bit for getting into the team again.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think there's ever a good time to get this sort of thing, but as you say, I've sort of, for years with Northern Ireland, I've sort of been the go-to man if there was an injury, if there was someone pulling out, but I just feel over the last year I've sort of cemented my place in the squad. I'm part of it now, and I feel part of it. When I get my letter now, I'm not like shocked the way I used to be. I was like, who's injured? That's the way I used to be, who's pulled out. But now I feel like I'm sort of expecting it, on club form, playing at the standard I'm playing, and then obviously to get the injury now, and there's a lot of good goalkeepers there as well now, and I know it's going to be a challenge when I do get back fit to, not just fight Bailey for the number 1 jersey, but now to get back in the squad, because obviously young Connor's out playing games now, and it's healthy for the country, and it's unfortunate for me, but it's up to me to come back, as I say, stronger, and I won't take it for granted that I'll be back in the squad as soon as I'm fit. Definitely not. So again, there's another incentive for me to get back. Because I love going away with Northern Ireland. I love being part of it, and I've got a taste for it over the last year. This time last year I had no caps. I'm sitting in 5 now, and that's just surreal for me. So it's made me hungry for more. So hopefully that drives me on.
So you were saying about how you're going to be coming over in March anyway, even if you aren't able to be in the squad. Is that how much that means to you, that you want to stay around everything?
Yeah, and that shows you the character of Michael O'Neill. He was the one who rang me, suggested it, and he said he wants me to be part of it and around the place, and if I can do a bit of training with the lads, he wants me to join. That was maybe 2-3 days after I got the news that I got the clot, and that gave me a massive lift. And he could easily just thought, he's out of the picture now, concentrate on the next one, but he's not like that, and that's why all the lads hold him such high esteem and so much respect. So that'll be great. I'll be there 100%, and I just hope we get the invite to Amsterdam as well, and places like that. But it'll be great to be around the lads, and obviously going to Windsor as a fan, as I did as a boy, it'll be fantastic.
Really insightful stuff. But now we're going to do the proper grilling and do it and go to the GAWA Zone.
Hi Trevor, Daniel Newton here, and I'd like to know if you've played outfield before, or have you always been a goalkeeper? Thanks.
That's a good question, because when I was at Sunderland, I'm a first year scholar, I think, so it would have been 16, 17. I've always been, even growing up, 10, 11, always enjoyed playing out more than in goal. And I remember I actually turned up to Leeds when I was about 13, went up to Institute for a trial for the Ford Cup. And I turned up with my gloves and all, thinking, I've always been a keeper, but played outfield now and again. And obviously Leeds had watched me. I didn't know they'd watched me. They'd rang my granda saying, bring him here at this time. So I turned up in my gloves and all. And the guy, I think they called him Alex, this guy, was like, what have you got gloves for? I was like, because I'm a goalkeeper. He said, no, we watched you last Sunday, you played centre midfield. You were the best player. So I was thinking, it's a bit like Big Josh McGuinness. He went opposite way, didn't he? But and then obviously when I was at Sunderland, my first year scholar, I broke my wrist. And Kevin Ball, the youth team manager, I'd been training outfield for a week or two, and because obviously with your wrist, you can't do goalkeeping, but you can, as long as it's well protected, you can do outfield stuff. And we played Newcastle, and obviously the under 18s league as it was at the time, and trained all week, playing really well. But I was like, fancy playing up front on Saturday. I laughing, thinking, started up front against Newcastle, and
big game to start you up front.
I know, it was mad. And then I think next game, I done okay. Didn't score. Next game I came on up front against Bolton, I think it was. I played 2 or 3 games in the under 18s league and outfield, and then went away. It was end of the season. We went away to home and played an end of season tournament. And again, I played out. Obviously, I went away thinking of the goalie, and it was the last game, the qualifying game. We played this Japanese team, but I played the first 2 or 3 games in nets, and we needed a draw to get through. And I'll never forget, 10 minutes to go, I've just seen Bolly making a sub, brought someone off, brought the keeper on for a striker. I was thinking, what's happening here? So the striker was off, and Chris Backhouse, who was the young goalkeeper, ran up to me with his shirt, said, "You're up front," tried a lot. And I never forget, I got one, brought it down the chest, and turned the guy, and I had an absolute. I remembered hitting the bar, but unfortunately it didn't go in. We didn't qualify, but we went into the way the milk cup's structured. It's sort of that you go into the plate sort of final, and I started the next game again. And when we came back, I think Bolly and Jed McNamee, who was the academy director, sort of sat me down and said, "Listen, you need to decide where your future's going." Bolly was like, "I think you're better being an outfielder." Jed and Prude's the goalie coach at the time. He was like, "They think you more chances of goalkeeper." So it was like, what do you do? And for me, straight away, I was like, I've been a goalkeeper really since I was 4-year-old. My dad was a keeper, my granddad was a keeper. It was sort of, it was a no-brainer for me. As much as I loved playing, even to this day, I prefer playing outfield, but I just, in my head, I'm a goalkeeper, you know what I mean? That's my job, and I'm glad I made that decision.
Definitely, if we need a last minute goal, you throw in Trevor up front, aren't you?
You take that from Schmeichel then? He loved to be...
He did, didn't he? No, I think just being, even at school, like I was always one of the better outfield players, and as a young lad, it's more glory, isn't it, scoring goals than being a goalkeeper, and but I don't know, it was just...
I think we all have those mates that were kind of like thrown into nets and be like, yeah, we need someone in nets here.
Yeah.
We'll throw them in. Is that so? Were you not kind of forced into it like that, or were you just like, no, I love being in nets?
No, I think, as I say, as my dad was a keeper, my granddad, and I can't remember being 3-4-year-old, but I'm nearly sure, like, they tell stories now of like putting balls at me and I would just jumping away, brave, at that age, being brave, like jumping. So, I must have had a knack for it. And in our age group in Kildare, little village, we only had like under 10s, under 12s, under 14s. It wasn't like there is now, under 6s, So I was 6 when I first played for the under 10s. And there's still paper cuttings my granddad's got them. I saved the penalty in the cup final when I was 6-year-old. I still get the picture of me holding, like, got a dicky bow on. My mum still kept the waistcoat, and I was 6-year-old playing with under 10, so playing with 10-year-olds, and that's a big difference, when you see 6-year-olds, and my daughter's 6 now, and my niece is 10, and the difference in them is like not even size but mentality, and so obviously that was a big thing for me, because by the age of 9 then I was going on trial to Man United, and Rangers. I went over to Man United when I was 9. Again, my school, I go to my primary school and they've got the cutting of it, like me in the back of the paper, like with a ball, about going on trial to Man United at 9-year-old. That was obviously before the rules came in where you had to be a certain age to go across, and I think I was the one of the youngest to go across at that time, Johnny Evans, I think, went, he was probably 10, 11, I think Johnny's a year older than me, maybe. And so I think it was a blessing for me having to play up 3-4 age groups. It sort of helped me get better. Playing with bigger boys, and ever since then I just didn't look back.
I think that 10-year-old that missed the penalty is sitting out there. This guy can't be having that. Trevor Carson.
He probably doesn't remember. I guess I actually do remember it, but.
Well, you saved it, so you will remember.
Yeah, it was against Glass. I remember it was against Glass in the cup final. Yeah. The worst thing, it wasn't the worst, it was obviously good, but that's how good I remember. Well, I just remember I always read the paper cuttings that my mum's got, and that I had saved the 5th penalty, but one of my mates, Darren Sharvin, so it wasn't the winning save, but it set us up for the win, but he got all the glory, obviously, because he went and scored the winning penalty. So.
Those outfield players.
I know, exactly.
That's why you wanted to be the outfield player.
That's why I wanted, yeah, exactly.
If it was the other way around.
Alright, Trevor, what I want to know is, what is the biggest prank you've ever seen pulled in a dressing room, and who did it?
Biggest prank? I don't know, it's a tough one. Just all the standard ones, dumping in people's wash bags, and all the
That's standard.
Away trips, when you go away, there's always, it happened to me last year actually. Went down for dinner, all the boys, and back up, my room was completely ransacked, like your beds were tipped over. And in terms of actual dressing room,
has anything ever happened to you that you can think of?
Again, apart from like the DP, the cutting of socks.
DP?
Yeah, DP down the boxers, you stick them on.
Yeah, I remember doing that on a cricket tour once.
There's been nothing.
Is there any sort of initiation things that has ever happened that you've seen that'd be pretty funny?
Again, it's
You must have a summer choice.
Yeah.
Initiations, you must have a...
Do you know what? Last year, whenever I signed for Motherwell, a lot of the Motherwell players was big Celtic fans, like grew up Celtic fans, and so I sort of got wind of this, and I sang, Penny Arcade, the song Rangers come out to, so I just sang that sort of just to wind them up a bit, but just sort of have a bit of banter. But I absolutely messed it up as well. I got the words right. It was a nightmare. But in terms of pranks, there's been. I remember Hartlepool a couple of years ago where one of the boys got a brand new pair of boots, and obviously lower leagues you buy your own boots, they're expensive nowadays, so one of the boys, Scott Fennick, I think he paid about 230 quid for these boots, and when he came in from training one day, and one of the other lads had cut the laces on it, completely cut the laces, but ruined the boots because he cut the little bit where the laces goes in, and for him it was banter, but obviously Scotty found out who it was, and it was a guy Kudus, he called him, and when Scotty found out, like it all kicked off in the end. Like the manager had stepped in and said Scotty had actually went and got a load of flour and eggs and stuff and went out, and Kudus drove a lovely Audi A5 I think it was, and Scotty completely ran everywhere in the car, and it was that point, it was like supposed to be banter, but it got the point, there is a line, and it was uncomfortable watching it, so there always is that sort of, you got to know the characters whenever you're
a watch on the sidelines, are you?
Yeah, it was me, I was a watcher, but it was one of them watching, it was like uncomfortable then, because you thought it was going to come to blows, and started getting personal in the end, so I was just glad I was not involved.
Who's the first to be pulling the pranks in Northern Ireland setup?
Oh, there's some headers and a big laugher. He's always up to no good, but there's big McGuinness as well. They're always, it's usually verbal abuse, and there's one thing I've learned: when you go down for dinner, always have your shorts tie, because big Craig Cathcart, honestly, has got me a few times where, obviously, when you're holding your plate ready to, as soon as someone pulls your kegs down, and there's always 2 or 3 women serving you as well, and like it can be cold in them rooms as well sometimes. So I've learnt my lesson now. I'll never, Craig's always up to that trick. So yeah, but just it's.
I've seen on the away trips there's been a few D-baggings, especially on the plane when you're maybe you're reaching up to put your bags away, and then I've always said that one day I'm going to get like a picture at maybe a Cathcart or something like that and put it on my boxers or whatever, so if he does it behind me.
That's sort of, that's a good idea. That is a good idea. Yeah, but the thing is, when you go away, you can go away sometimes for a week, 10 days, and because the banter is that good, it never feels like, there's times where maybe like the South America trip where you're travelling a lot and it can get a bit long, but it's never not enjoyable, you know what I mean? There's always a laugh and a bit of carry on, a bit of crack, so, it's good to have that, sort of thing.
Hi Trevor, Aaron here. My question is, do you support any team in the Irish League, and would you consider playing in the Irish League to finish your career?
Yeah, Ards was my team growing up. Me and my granddad went to every home game at Ards, and still got a soft spot for them. Even I was home over the New Year there, and I've got a few mates who play for Linfield, but they were playing Ards on I think it was New Year's Day or the day after New Year's Day, and we went up for that, and Chris was like, I'll get you tickets. My mate was like, I'll get you tickets in Linfield then. And I was like, no, I'm an Ards fan. I'm not up here to support you. I'm here to support Ards. So, it's unfortunate now they're playing at Bangor, because I remember growing up going to, their ground, what do you call it? Anderson Park, was it? Up in Newton Ards. Some unbelievable memories up there in Magranda, I always remember getting your burger, getting your cup of tea, hot cup of tea, because it always seemed, any memory I've got, it always seemed to be cold, but that was sort of always my team growing up, and still you sort of keep that soft spot for them, so it's unfortunate they're not doing great at the minute, but yeah, definitely. But on the side of whatever play Irish League, 100%,
Hi, I'm Michael O'Neill, and you're listening to the Northern Ireland podcast.
Hi Trevor, It's Tim here. I was just wondering, out of all the managers you played under, who was the best and why?
I had this question yesterday in a podcast on, and this straight away said Michael O'Neill. You know, without doubt, his attention to details. You know, he doesn't leave anything unturned, and the big thing for me is, you know, I remember reading Roy Keane's book, and he was talking about Sir Alex Ferguson, where you go into managers love meetings, and you go into some meetings and you come out half an hour later, you're thinking, what was that all about? Like, but with Michael could have 5 meetings in one day, and every meeting you would come out, you would have learned something. You would have been gripped by, you know, you never take your eyes off him because he's always so. And it's one big thing for me about him is sort of the knowledge he's got. We could be playing Azerbaijan and he'll know everything about every player, and you know, obviously he's got a big gap, big gap in between games, so he can study in that. But just, you know, the way he gets it across, gets his message across is, you know, great. And you know, I've worked under some great managers, you know, Steve Bruce, Roy Keane, Martin O'Neill, our gaffer here. You know, he's in the same mould as Michael because he worked with Michael for a couple of years, and you know, all great managers. But for me, Michael's definitely, you know, a standout.
Because he is so ingrained. A lot of people say his football knowledge is second to none.
It's we'll always say that. All the lads in Northern will say, like, you know, how does he know that much about a player who's playing in, you know, a league in Azerbaijan or a league in, you know, San Marino, whatever. You know, he knows everything about them, and it's. You could easily go on Wikipedia and go through player, but it's not like that. He knows certain things that you would only know if you've watched them for 2-3 hours, you know. And the thing about him, like everyone knows, if you're going on the pitch for Northern Ireland, if you're a right back, you know exactly your job. You know, as a keeper, it's different because your job's to keep the ball out, and that's simple as that. You know, outfielders, no matter what position you're in, if you're on the bench and you're coming on right midfield, He'll make sure you know exactly what your job is defensively, attacking these set plays, stuff like that. There would never be a time where you could go to Michael after a goal or after a game and say, I didn't know what I was doing, I didn't know who he was picking up, I didn't know where I was supposed to be, because he doesn't allow that sort of excuse, because he covers everything, you know. We don't have a lot of time when we meet up, with maybe 2, 3, 4 days before the first game, and he makes sure he gets everything in, and he's definitely a different level. Like, for me, he's top manager.
Does that give?
And that's not just me saying that, so he puts me in the next squad. That's me being, you know, 100% honest.
Does that give you the team a confidence that whenever you have a manager that you trust actually knows what he's talking about when he says it?
Yeah, when I said yesterday, when I was answering the question, I said, like, you just have to look at the job he's done, like how he's turned Northern Ireland round. Like, Windsor Park's probably sold out a year in advance now. You know, I've got mates like trying to get tickets and it's block bookings now. And you know, 4 or 5 years ago, before Michael came, it was half full every home game. You know, the stadium, but that's all because of the results he's brought and the feel good factor, and you know. And every single player respects him. That's, you know, for me, a manager, that's a massive thing, because as soon as you lose that in the dressing room, you've lost the dressing room. You know, if lads start disrespecting you, and with Michael's, you know, to gain that, first of all, to gain the respect off the players when you first get the job, get them on side, but then to maintain that over, you know, 3-4 years, and a lot of ups, but you know, there's been a few downs as well. You know, to be able to come back after them downs and pick us up again and go again, and you know, I know for a fact when the boys meet up in March, the draw we've had, tough draw of course, but Michael, that first meeting, I guarantee, I won't be there obviously because injured, but I guarantee the lads, every single lad comes out of the meeting thinking, we're going to qualify. Like, I remember before the last World Cup the World Cup qualifying, we missed out against Switzerland, but I remember before the draw came out, after the draw, and we were preparing for the first qualifying game. I think it was away to Germany or away to Czech Republic, one of the two, and obviously it was a tough group. Initially you thought this is going to be really tough, but I remember the first meeting, he breaks it down into little little mini leagues, 2 games. This is what we're going like. And you come out of the meeting thinking, he makes you believe. You know what I mean? He's got that. You come out of a meeting and he just gives you a totally different outlook on things, and to be able to do that as a manager, because we're not stupid footballers. We know the game, and sometimes to have that power to sort of hypnotise us, to come out thinking, believing every word he says. It's a great quality to have.
I think that was
Yeah, so we have a question that's kind of been running over the last couple of podcasts now. A fan sent it in and we thought it was pretty good. What is your favourite chippy in Northern Ireland?
Favourite chippy in Northern Ireland?
Yeah, right down to the serious stuff now.
As in fish and chips takeaway?
Well, whatever you get from like a chippy, yeah, fish and chips.
Do you want me to actually tell you the name of the chip shop, or what I would get out of the chippy?
Both.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to go both.
If I was to go, obviously being from Kildare, I have to give like one of the local little things. I would say there's a place called the Smugglers. Colin McGifford, our kitman, one of our kitmen, he knows it well. He'll tell you the same. That's his favourite chippy in Kildare. But if I was to treat myself, go a bit further afield, there's one in Dundonald called the Golden Chip. Outstanding. You'll never beat a better. Fish and chips for me all the way. Three or 4 bits of bread and butter, loads of salt and vinegar.
Jeez, 3 or 4 bits of bread.
Covered in red sauce. That's me.
That's proper.
That's usually when I'm playing. Saturday night's our treat night, me and my missus and the kids, and when it's my turn to pick, it's usually, if she picks, it's pizza. But if it's my turn, it'll be fish and chip, like up the chippy. There's a wee place up in Motherwell called Pluto's. It's really, really good, and when it's my turn to pick, it's fish and chips. I just love it.
Are you getting fish and chips, or are you getting something different?
No, I'm getting fish and chips.
Fish and chips, you're sticking to the original.
Yeah, 100%. You can't go to a fish and chip shop and get battered sausage.
Well, Stephen Craigan was a pasty man. Yeah.
That's because he is a big pasty, Craig. That doesn't surprise me with Craig. Bit different, but it's all the way fish and chips for me. Yeah.
And drink choice?
Coke Zero. I know it's so Irish to get a big greasy fish and chips and then a Coke Zero. I'm on a diet after that. I can't get a full fat Coke, but
what's my figure?
It's just the full fat Coke's too sweet for me, so I've just always prefer the Coke Zero. Yeah.
Talking to the wrong man here. He lives and breathes Coke.
I need a Coca-Cola, or I can't get through a day.
Over here, Iron Brew's massive over here.
Yeah,
my missus loves it, but not for me.
Took all the sugar out of it now.
I can get Iron Brew extra, like Iron Brew sugar free, and
E-numbers.
it's not. I just
bring back E-numbers. Always forget it.
Well, Trevor, that was really fascinating. Just hearing about everything, and obviously, I wish you luck with the rest of your recovery. Obviously, hope to see you back in the Northern Ireland shirt in the summer.
Thank you for coming.
But just to say to you guys, remember to email us podcast@irishfa.com with any thoughts, ideas, questions, or even guest ideas, or you can tweet us at Northern Ireland. But for myself and Andy and to Trevor, thank you very much, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
It's a good ball. The flag stays down. Heaney! Oh!
They scored again! It's Davis again! It's job done now!